All right, what's going on, everybody? I wanted to take a little bit of time and do a video just kind of showing the steps in the process of what it takes to be able to polish out gel coat, and also to what extent. A lot of boats are white, some might be colored, they might most likely be on a light colored, but when you get into like dark colors, you get into a little bit more finer work, a little bit more glossy look. And I'm gonna do a little test spot on the roughest gel coat that I've ever polished. It's very rough, so I want to do a little test spot and just see what could be polished on a gel coat side. Base coat, clear coat, it's a little bit of a different, it's kind of all the same polishing, but it's a little bit of different on how aggressive you could get, how much sanding you can do. Again, it's a project. This boat here is a little bit on a rough side. So anyways, check it out. It's 97 and it looks like it's somewhat original, as in the green and the stripe, but if we get closer we can see that there's like a flaking here, so it looks like somebody tried to clear coat it. Really detail this boat. After this test spot is going to tell us what outcome we can possibly get, and then when we get into polishing the rest of the boat, I am going to remove all the stickers. I believe these here are stickers also, so I'm going to strip all this off, all the stickering, polish it all out, and then redo the stickering, re-put the pinstripe here. It's not in the best condition. Most times, most boats, RVs, gel coat, they don't really need heavy wet sanding. This one here, we're gonna need a wet sand. Like I was saying, on a white boat, on most RVs, it's dull but still a little shine, where with one pass, maybe two passes, we could kind of get that thing back to shining. But in a case like this, it's now on another level, because we're pretty much like restoring it. We're not just polishing it out, and you know, we pretty much got to sand down some of those clears, scratches, and then double step, maybe even triple step, depending on the outcome that we're getting to get that glass look. So anyways, there you guys have it. Let's get to it, and I'll show you guys the process. So we're gonna do a strip down here. I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape. Right now I'm gonna start off with 1000 grit. 1000 grit on clear coat is pretty strong. On gel coat, it's not the strongest. You know, we could start off more aggressive, but the idea of testing a spot is testing without getting so aggressive to see if we need to get that aggressive. Anytime polishing, you want to remove the least material as possible to get the outcome that you want to get. So yeah, all this clear coat here, this right here, it would for sure, I would take it down on my DA with maybe some like 600 grit and just really work that back, and maybe try to feather it into this edge somewhere around there. That feels nice. I mean, just going over it, you start to feel where it kind of smooths down, and you could feel like all these little clear flakes that you could feel them in the sandpaper. And you want to keep it kind of wet and keep it kind of back and forth. And you want to put some pressure, but not over pressure. So now that we squeegeed and it kind of dried up, we can still see some of the scratches that we have. And now we would have to see how deep they are and think if we want to keep hitting them more. In this case right now, I'm not going to get carried away and to keep on trying to get these scratches off, because I still want to see what the outcome is going to be when I polish. So once I finish polishing and I see the outcome and I see the gloss level that I could achieve, then I'll say, okay, let's go back and sand it down a little bit more and see if we could get some of these scratches out. Does that make sense? So that's the idea of that. So let's spray this down and move over to 2000 grit and just kind of get these corners a little bit better. Alright, so now this part here is 3000 grit. This is a little bit kind of exaggerated, but this is a setup that I like to use for cars. Base coat, clear coat, gel coat. We might not need to get so fine, but I guess it's just personal preference. Most people will polish out 2000 grit just fine. It just takes a little bit more pressure, a little bit more passes, and just kind of a little bit more double checking. Once you fine it down to 3000, it becomes so fine that just with a nice good pass, you most likely kind of get everything. And if you got to go back and touch something up, it's just so little bit that it's not like you got to do the whole panel all over again. Alright guys, so we've pretty much walked it down from 1000, 2000 to 3000, and this is our finished product. And if you can see, we already have some shine. Check that out. I mean, that's not even polished yet compared to what it was. So seems like we're on our way to somewhere. Let's see. Not bad, but I do see a couple more scratches under here, so we're gonna go ahead and hit it again. But what a difference already, huh? That's just with the one step. So I'm gonna hit it again and then move on to the second step, and let's see if we can shine it up just a little bit more. All right, so we hit it again with the first step. All right, so it looks a lot better. I don't know if you guys can see. Oh yeah, y'all can see. So little scratches that we had, they kind of blended in. Again, they're still there, but they kind of blend in, so they're not so white and obvious. I still see a little bit of hand scratches underneath, which tells me that we're gonna really have to fine this down to that 3000. And again, I'm only doing hand sanding right now. If I were to do this whole boat, I'd have an electric DA, you know, be more prepared. So this would be 1000 with a DA, 2000 with a DA, 3000 with a DA. And it just makes time a lot faster, and it helps some of those straight scratches from your hands, help them polish out a little bit easier. So anyways, up here where the clear was faded, it didn't really blend out, and the reason is that this is already faded. This clear here is already very white and falling and flaking. And even from here on up, it's still pretty white and dull. So all this here would have to probably get like 600 grit and then work to 8 to 1000, you know, 15, 2000, like that. That would be another good thing, would be go 1000 grit and then do 1500 grit. Depends how it sands. I might just skip the 1000 grit and go to 15 grit, you know, 15,000, 2000. So that's the idea of a test panel, testing something, getting down, looking at it close, and then tweaking the setup. Let's hit it with the second step real quick. Looks like I got some glue now from the tape. That's pretty much it, guys. And now you guys know what it takes to polish, a little bit of the steps. Most jobs do not require so much wet sanding and steps like that, like we talked about. In this case it is, because we're trying to pull off some clear, we're trying to pull off that oxidation. So when your boat or your RV has very heavy oxidation, sometimes we could use a nice heavy pad, a heavy compound, and that's okay, and that pretty much could work. But just depends. This one here is just way past due. If you could see a little bit of shine through your paint, it has oxidation but you can still see that it has some shine underneath, then most times you could polish that out. But when it's oxidated to a point where you can't even really see the shine, like this thing here, then that's when you really have to get into like wet sanding and just take off, you know, a nice good top layer and repolish out and start from fresh. With the gel coat or base coat clear coat, most cars are always base coat clear coat. There is some single stage cars. I've done single stage, base coat clear coat, and gel coat. So they're all kind of the same, but they all have a little bit of a different setup. And always do a test panel, even on a car. I've done cars the most over and over, and every car I get, the clear coat could be different. Some clears are hard, some clears are softer. Has the car been painted before? Sometimes they've been painted before and you don't even know, because whoever did it was a very fine dealer or painter who just went ahead and got it done to perfection. So everything you do a test panel. The tape, it's nice so you can see that transformation. In this case, the tape kind of wiped off, but there was no need. I hope you guys enjoy. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.